Hello and welcome back to awtoolbox.com. I'm Glenn Keller, and in this video we're going to be looking at doing some simple searching in addition to the navigation that we've learned in previous videos. We're going to search for objects and just kind of quickly work with those objects, understand how we can find data in the system. Now this video is a little bit of a prelude to a whole segment on searching that we're going to go through. But it should give you a good overview of what we're going to be able to do inside of this client. So to begin with, I've got active Workspace here. This is our training environment that we're working through. We've got an assembly of a CNC machine or a cutting. It's got a lot of different parts. It's got an assembly. So I'm just going to go ahead and begin to search for those. Now I can use my saved searches that are here on the display. But at the moment, I don't have any of those saved searches except for this search for IDs that contain 24. So if this was the search that I wanted to run, you could see on the right-hand side, I already have the search results in this window. I don't have to actually execute this again, as it gave me the live search results as soon as I loaded it. So I could pick something up and open it from here. Now, you could also just kind of click it and click open. You could open up filters and you could filter based on what types of searches you had. If I opened it, then it would actually just execute the search exactly as I had it before. Now, in this case, it opened up what I had before, so everything kind of works the way I would expect it to. Now, if you didn't have something saved, you have a couple of options. So first of all, you can filter your search by whatever presets are up here. Now, these could be a little different in your environment, but by default, you get all, which is any category. You have documents. Files would be things like PDFs and Word docs. And then parts would be like part data, the type of data you see on the screen for the most part. Just be careful, documents don't mean PDFs and things like that. It is a type of object in Active Workspace and Teamcenter. It acts a lot like an item revision, except for it's used to revise actual documents in the system. This search field is called the global search field, and this is your primary search. This search field has a lot of cool settings and use cases that you can use for it. But most of the time when we come into the system, we're searching for a specific value, like an ID of something or a value that matches one of the parts or components or documents in our system. So if I come in and I just do a search for 090 in this search, you can see I get some suggestions of things that match in our search system that are very close. I could also save. Go to save searches or do a more advanced, elaborate search called an advanced search, which is usually used for falling back if this search field isn't working, or if we're doing some type of heavy lifting search in the system, or using searches to drive reports. In this search field, I can pretty much return everything that I need to. And if I hit enter off of that, it will run the search and I'll get the list of results. And you can see by default in the system, the value that I searched on is highlighted in the table wherever it returns. So this table that comes back gives me a list of all the results and some default properties across the top. It could also give me properties that are related to custom attributes in my system. And then I can interact with the data, I can change properties, I can really kind of get a grasp for what my search results entail. On the left-hand side, once you perform a search, then you can filter down on information about the search components. So if I come in here and I do a search on just 09, you can see I have a lot of data in here. I have date modified, modifying user, date released, release statuses, owning group information, owner information, just a lot of things. And if I filter on one of them, you'll see the filter show up across the top up here. So we can see that up across the top. And I can kill that filter or clear all filters using some of the buttons up here. So if I close that, the search will then get rid of the filter and I can see what's here. The selected component will be in blue at the top. So if I select the next one, you can see that that changes. I can undock this filters panel and move it around. This is kind of a newer feature in the later versions of Active Workspace. And then I can use my filters if I want to, and it'll rerun the search. If I close that, then it'll tuck it back in. Now, just real quickly, you can type any value in here. I could do something like 09 space, which is kind of like an and then cutter. And if I do this, it'll search for 09, anything that has that, and anything that contains cutter in one of the searchable terms. So in this case, nothing in that case returns. If I get rid of 09 and just search cutter, nothing returns. So I know that I would need to do something a little bit more specific. So I could say 090 head, it's cutting, not cutter. So you can see that that returns only one result at that point. So this searching feature also does things like ORs. There are settings in the search results that you can kind of modify how this works. If you come into the search settings window in these search results, you can say how it defaults and organizes things as they come back alphabetically or by count. You can auto update the filters as you pick them, and that's these filters over here. So you can, let me dock that back. So as I click them, in that case, they would automatically apply instead of me having to say update. If I come back into search settings, you can open the filter panel automatically with the search, or you can have it hide away. Just a lot of different settings that you can play with as you go. Again, look at some of our more detailed videos as we dive into searching later on. The search results, just note that you have multiple layouts where you can go from list to table to images, and you can really kind of scope out and pick the best view for you or layout for you. And then once you have the object, you can open it in this window, or you can use some of the other open options, which is like open a new window, new tab. A lot of people like new tab as it allows you to open the object without losing the page that you're on. So launching it in a new tab, working with it, but being able to switch back. This is perfectly okay in this system. You can have different tabs up. And then when I'm done with that, I can close it. So in this video, we've learned a little bit about searching inside of the system. We can save those searches. We can play around with some of these additional options up across the top, modify the search results with search settings. So again, pay attention to some of our more elaborate videos later in the road, but this gets you kind of squared away with searching in Active Workspace.